one of our more qualified and most qualified among us is Amr. Amr is inshallah going to introduce himself, but he's the head of our activities. And I'll let him introduce himself inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amr Adil. I'm volunteer for Egyptian Boy Scouts from 2010 and volunteer at American Boy Scouts from 2017 and volunteer also for Egyptian Red Crossing for 10 years ago, and now I'm volunteer at American Red Cross at Disaster Action Team.
So again, Amr has, if not more than 5 and 10 years worth of experience. So not only in safety, but also in camping. So his Boy Scout experience, alhamdulillah, has allowed us to utilize it for our activities. But not only that, his safety among other counselors who are also EMT certified, as well as first aid certified, Amr is among them as well. So Amr is fantastic in what he does, alhamdulillah, and inshallah he'll be heading our program. Now, last but not least, from among those who are here, more inshallah, is Ziad Tarraf. He'll be our lifeguard for the camp. I'll let him introduce a little bit of experience and he can ensure the safety for our children, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ziad Tarraf. I will be the lifeguard for the camp. I have been a lifeguard since my sophomore year of high school, which is about 6 years ago. 6 years, I've been a lifeguard for 6 years. I've been working as an aquatic supervisor at Rutgers, New Brunswick for the past 3 years. I'm also basic life support certified and EMT certified. So inshallah, like I'll be there if anything happens. La qadarullah.
So alhamdulillah, safety has always been among top priorities at the camps. We don't want any injury at all. And so we've ensured that we have the necessary people and personnel in order to ensure safety, inshallah, as well as, minna wa fina. And so we're glad and happy to do so. There are 2 people, and among more, who I want to mention that, might not want to come up, inshallah. Yes, sister. I would prefer them at the end, inshallah. Now, 2 people, inshallah. We have Amul Arabi in the back, who has had not more than 10 years of experience in camps. He doesn't want to stand up, inshallah, but he's been with us from the beginning until the end, and he will continue to be with us for as long as possible, inshallah. So he'll be with us, assisting and aiding in our program among the volunteers and staff. And finally, I want to thank the board and Amwa'il, and the rest of the camp and the rest of the board members, inshallah, for allowing us and assisting us in our camp and our program, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, we have a great program for you guys, inshallah. There's just some last couple things that I want to go over. Hopefully they'll answer any questions that we have, and then I'll open the door for some questions. So there's some camp rules and policies that I think not only the kids should know, but the parents should know as well. So our phone policy for the camp is something that I need to make very clear. Oh, it can't be read, so I'll read it out myself. No phones will be allowed with campers during camp. No phones will be allowed with campers during camp. Now, I know that many parents see that as a concern in terms of being able to contact their kids. So we have multiple facets that I've made available that the kids themselves don't need to use their own phones, but we have phones available for them to contact their parents, as well as a way for us to contact parents. And I'll go over them right now. So firstly, we have chaperones themselves, those who are heading the cabins, the counselors that you see in front of us, will have phones for parents to contact them directly, or the kids to call their parents. Now I'm going to go over in a second. All calls I would prefer, and we ask, go to me or Ahmed Al-Qasabi. But for the kids themselves, if they feel in distress or they want to call their parents, the chaperones themselves will have phones for them to call their parents. Service there is a bit iffy, but we'll try to make sure that if the kid, one of the children is feeling distressed, needs to call their mom or their dad, phones are available. We just don't want phones with the kids. One of the ahdaf of camp, the goals of camp, is to get this away from them. The phone they're locked in 24/7. This is an opportunity for them in a safe environment to not have their phones. So I wanted to make that very clear. And so on the screen here, you don't see it now. My phone number and Ahmed Al-Qasabi's phone number will be the main points of contact. So any questions, concerns, we ask that they go to my phone or his phone. We're going to try to ensure that those are always on, always have signal, always charged. So we ask preferably text, because messages might not get out in time, but that phone, those are the 2 main points of contact. Now, the WhatsApp group that all of you guys have been added to, that will be a daily source of communication. So every day, we'll be sending updates, videos, pictures of the camp proceedings as they go on. We don't want to leave you guys out of the loop. Yes, you're not there. We want to ensure that you guys are in the loop as the camp goes on. So throughout that WhatsApp group, we'll be letting updates, announcements, anything that is going on will be on a daily basis, will be sent into that WhatsApp group. So I ask, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, I've heard people are not, I thought I added everybody. Please come to me so I can add everybody, but that will be the main source of contact from us to you, and we ask from you to us as me or Qasabi, and chaperones for kids to parents. I would prefer we don't utilize the chaperones to call the kids, let the kids call through there, and then use me to contact the kids, inshallah. So making that clear. I open questions inshallah at the end, but making that clear. Yeah, and if you don't have our, thank you, Ahmed. If you can't see the phone numbers now, the two admins, you'll see Ahmed Sakhir and Ahmed Qasabi in the group chat on the head of the WhatsApp group. I'll send it again tonight as I send the memo of the overview of today. And so be sure to use those phone numbers, inshallah. Our next, for the kids who are listening, inshallah, our misbehavior policy. Now, for parents, I have to make very clear that we have some lines that we will not accept to be crossed. And if those lines are to be crossed, then we will ask that the parents can pick them up. Now, this is something that we have unfortunately, had to do before. And so if we have kids that are misbehaving to a point where I have to send them home, I will have to send them home. And so it's the responsibility of the parents to take them home. If the parents cannot, we will take them home. But if there are certain lines that we'll go over with the boys themselves, as well as the parents, there's pranks, fights, physical things of the nature that will not be allowed at camp. So general overview of things, I know, and I mentioned this first because it always happens, pranks are not allowed at camp. Okay? They're not allowed. We had issues with them before, they're not allowed. Among that, we ask that cursing is left to no-go, even a minimum, should not be allowed. The physical interaction should be kept safe. Nobody's fighting. There's a general overview. There's some specific points, but inshallah, we'll go over all the rules and regulations with the kids. And we ask you guys not only to support us through this and to be our aid in making sure the kids behave, but as well available if needed. So that's a general misbehavior kind of overview. I have to say it because we've had issues before, and I want to avoid issues this year, inshallah. So now, after I open the door for questions, I'm going to ask. I have a waiver available. I need it. I'm going to ask that parents come up to get it signed before and they leave today, as well, because I need it before we get onto the bus tomorrow. So if people who are not here today are watching live, inshallah, I ask that they are there to sign it. After that, we'll be having a little bit of fun for the kids. So we'll be doing a little bit of trivia, halaqa style, give out the shirts and the cabins, inshallah. So I am going to open the door for questions first, and then we'll go through that. So any questions, inshallah? Just in the back. So the size of the pool doesn't even allow us to have all kids there at once. So the sister asked if are we putting all the kids into the pool at once with only one lifeguard. So our program at the moment is that is the pool is on a rotational policy. The pool itself is not big enough to put all of the campers in it. So we're rotating cabin to cabin to ensure the safety of the kids during the pool process. Inshallah. Yes, inshallah. Yes, they do, inshallah. Inshallah. Floaties are not. Last time, no, that is good. The last time they did have. Remind me to ask. I don't want to give you a yes or no exactly, but that's something I can ask about, inshallah. It is their floaties available. Floaties available. Life vests. There are. I have confirmation there are, inshallah. Any other? نعم يا شيخ. اللغة العربية تفضل. نعم. نعم فيش مشكلة شيخ. تحت أمرك شيخ.
الشق الخاص بالاستاذ أرجو أن يكونوا عندهم الحلم والصبر وسعة الصبر والمسؤولية والأمن والأمان هم المسؤولين.
طبعا.
أمام الله سبحانه وتعالى هي مسؤولية.
صح.
أمام الله سبحانه وتعالى مش إحنا أولياء الأمور أو الشيوخ أو حاجة. المسؤول الأول أمام الله سبحانه وتعالى هو مجموعة الإسلام. فلا بد من قدر عالي جدا من الانضباط الإسلام والمسؤولية.
طبعا.
إذا فقد واحد منهم أعصابه أو خان الأمانة او عامل لنفسه او لمصلحته او انا بتكلم
في اللغة العامية صح.
خلاص او رايح لهدف تاني غير انه يضبط ويضبط الاولاد يبقى ده يعني ده حاجه مشكله خلاص. فالاستاذ تقوى الله والصبر والشجاعه والحلم والصبر تمام كده. اما الاولاد مطلوب منهم ان هم يكونوا على قدر عالي ايضا من المسؤوليه والضبط، ضبط النفس. هي ازاي يضبط نفسه؟ ما نقعش في مشاكل، ما نعملش مقالب اللي احنا بنعملها في اللغه المصريه يعني، ارجو ان يكون ده واضح حتى ولو تاجل يكون
And I'll translate what Sheikh said, inshallah. Great reminder that he's emphasizing not only for the kids, but for the staff. Sheikh is emphasizing for the staff why you're going and the responsibility that you have been given as those in staff. Even Sheikh mentioned, he said, if someone is not responsible, takes away the responsibility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they are breaking that trust that they've made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that promise they've made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, on the second point, he said, a reminder to the kids as well, that you also have a responsibility to follow the rules. And that responsibility between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by signing up to this camp, a responsibility between you and your parents, a promise between you and your parents, and you and us. So we ask not only to the staff, like Sheikh said, and a reminder for all of us, me included, and the kids themselves take on the responsibility and the promise and the amana that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted us in this camp. تفضل. عمو النباك and عمو النفرة, inshallah. We asked no later than 8:30. Yeah, no later than 8:30, inshallah. So, Damo. So we've sent out a supply list. So we have sent out a supply list. Everybody has received the supply list. Inshallah, if you have it, please let me know of what is to bring to camp. Among those is sleeping bags. Now, if they're more comfortable, and someone has asked me, well, he doesn't have a sleeping bag. If they're more comfortable with sheets and a bed sheet and pillows, that's totally fine. We just ask to pack light and not heavy. You know, we had a situation last time where we were carrying full-sized luggage that someone would go to Egypt for 2 months with. And I asked, you're only going for 4 days, you don't need the whole luggage. So we ask you to pack lights, but if you need the sheets, etc., you can pack those along with it, inshallah. Yes. There'll be a coach bus, fits about 50 to 60, and they can put everything under, inshallah. Any other questions? So this. So we did separate cabins by ages, and if I'm not mistaken, at the moment, due to ages, no brothers are with together. Right? And so I do ask that they do have separate luggages. If the cabins are close enough that if you can't fit something in one bag, you can put it in the other bag and they can go to each other. But that better to be 2 bags, inshallah. Just in the back, inshallah. So we have left the post-Fajr period for them to sleep extra. Now, knowing the kids, in my own experience, they don't tend to follow bedtime as strictly as they should. Now, we have not set a bedtime. We've left that to the cabins and the counselors to discuss with the cabins, because we do have cabins that reach to 20 years old and cabins that reach to 9. And so it's up to each counselor to agree with his group on which time is bedtime. But Fajr is a non-negotiable. And we have given a period afterwards, about an hour and a half to 2, for the sleep if they didn't get enough sleep because they were talking all night. Right? And my experience, it's been that post-sleeping period. We do have a time where camp program ends, and that's when they're supposed to sleep. But that little time after is actually very beneficial for the kids to interact with the counselor as well. So I actually see it as a benefit in many ways that they get a little bit of sleep leeway. So at least one. So some cabins have 2, depending on ages, but at least one will be with them every night. And Fajr, we have a team that goes around, wakes up for everybody Fajr if the counselor themselves did not wake up. But inshallah, we've chose counselors who wake up, inshallah, so alhamdulillah. Any other questions? From the parents first. I know the kids have questions. Salah. 100%. So we're getting the food ourselves, the meat ourselves for that as well. To provide that. Thank you, Salah ad-Din, for reminding me. And I think everybody saw in the video that the food is pretty good. In my opinion, it's pretty good. So you'll get your meal's worth. There's on top of that a salad bar, so they're eating well, alhamdulillah. You don't have to worry about it. It's not mom's cooking, but it's good, alhamdulillah. Yusuf, told them. You don't need cleats. You can wear sneakers, habibi. Any other questions? I would prefer, as someone who coaches soccer, they don't need it. You can, but they don't need it. There any other questions? Inshallah. Sultan. So alhamdulillah, the facility has well water. So they fill us up jugs every day, then they put it in front of the cabins themselves. However, if you don't prefer well water for any reason, that's totally fine. We ask that you guys bring your own water for that case. But we ask that they bring, and among the list is reusable water bottles. Ones you can just keep filling up because it's in front of the cabin. They fill up, keep walking. But if it's personal preference that they don't prefer well water, I totally understand. But we ask that they bring their own water in that case. تفضل عمر. Yes, so alhamdulillah, I want to re-emphasize what Ammo said, and thank you, Ammo, for the reminder, that my phone, and Ahmed Al-Qasib's phone, will be on us at all times. So now, in the case that the messages themselves do not come to me in time, it's strictly because of signal. I'm pretty good at getting on my phone very quickly, but if I don't answer, it's either I'm giving an announcement, I'm busy at the moment, but I will try to get back to those messages as soon as possible. One of my biggest priorities is making sure that WhatsApp group is responded to, so that all parents are getting. Now, I know at the moment it's admin only. I'm going to open it. I just want to avoid spam before we open the camp. But I'll open it up for people to message on that group chat, inshallah. Any other questions, inshallah? So they'll be leaving here tomorrow at 9. They'll be coming back. They leave after Dhuhr. So given the estimate of time, they should be back by Asr. So around between 3 and 4. So we asked that on Wednesday. Did I say Thursday? It was Wednesday. Wednesday. 4 days. Thank you. I didn't hear. No. You can't hold me. I told you get the vacation. I gave you 4 days vacation, man. ولهالدرجة. مصطفى إن شاء الله. مصطفى. We should be here by 8:30 maximum. You got that, Mustafa? No sleeping in. So, sister, you had a question? Sister had a question? No? Yes? You had a question? So the plan as of now is we should need maximum 1. It's only 2.5 hours. So we really shouldn't need more than that. If there's a case that, it's our bus, we can ask them to stop. But hopefully we try to get there quickly so that we can set up quickly. We don't want to delay the kids. Any other questions? تفضل عمو. نعم. They won't need it. There's nothing there that they need to pay for. Everything is paid for and provided, so they can just come themselves, inshallah. Now, if you want to give them a little bit for if we stop, again, the plan is maximum 1 stop, hopefully not. So I don't think they need it, but it's always recommended. If you want to get pocket money, it's always a good thing to have. حاضر. يمكن انا ما شفتوش انا for anybody that I didn't get back to and it's not on a group chat or is live and seeing this, I was busy. So if I wasn't able to get back to your message, I get back to it by the end of the night, inshallah. So the way we're doing it, and it's a good question, we're allowing them to use it on the phone rides, on the bus rides back and forth. The way it's going to work is once they come, they're going to they're going to sit in their cabins or in their lines according to their cabins. We're going to ask that each one of them puts it into a Ziploc bag, locks it, puts their name on it, and we'll store it on the side, and they can take it back at the end of camp. So if you, for safety reasons, bus rides, I understand. So we put it for you guys, allow them to use on the bus, inshallah. So it shouldn't be an issue. So I didn't break down all the activities specifically, but some of the activities are what we call camp-wide activities. Some of them are group-wide activities, and some of them are individual activities. So among the big camp activities, we have 3. For example, hiking is one of the easiest examples. Those would be camp-wide. So all the counselors, along with Amr, inshallah, will be leading us through the hiking, so they are together. Now, some other activities, like the pool, for example, might be cabin-specific. Some of the smaller ones might be individual for them to go and see themselves. Free time might be, I want to go play soccer, so I'm going to go play with this group. It's dependent on activity, inshallah. So No worries. There's not a tree in sight. Once you get far enough, there's no trees in sight. So no, actually, once you get far enough, there's no trees in sight. So any wild animals are not a concern at all. The camp has been running all year. So a little bit overview on this camp. This camp runs its own program every week of the year, every week of the summer. They start in the beginning of summer and the end of summer. We're taking the camp right after their program. So they do it on a daily basis, and we've ensured that's not an issue, inshallah. Yes, they're allowed to bring snacks. Totally okay, so no issue. Any other question? So alhamdulillah, thankfully everybody put through the registration list, and that's why it's so important. I know some people came to me today who might not have, one person actually did not have the registration done. I cannot allow anybody on the bus that's not registered, specifically for that reason. Especially in when I coach, the allergy thing is one of our biggest concerns. And so thankfully we have a list of dietary restrictions and allergies. For example, we have nut allergies, amoxicillin allergies. We have them all written down. Anybody who has a nut allergy, we will not allow them to have food shared with them. Nor if there is someone who has a nut allergy, I'm gonna ask about it tomorrow. If there are airborne contact or physical contact, we can allow them to not sit next to them and sit on their own table, or just ensure that food is not shared and they're not eating it. And the counselors themselves will be informed that this person is allergic to this or that. So general first aid policy for example, when I coach is EpiPens are to remain with the children, but the coach or the person in charge is informed. So that's general first aid policy. So if they have an EpiPen, put it in their bag, inshallah, make sure that their counselor is informed of where it is, and that way in the case of emergency they can use it. We have a first aid kit, alhamdulillah, of general like medications, but if there's a specific medication they need to take on a daily basis, I ask that the counselor is informed as soon as possible, because that wasn't necessarily on the list. But if they have medications, please let them know so that we can make sure that they take it every day. Any other questions?
For example, in one of the activities, if my son will want to go, for example, cyber team, can he do something else instead of, or is it mandatory?
So it depends on the period, and I'll give you my personal recommendation. So in my 5 years of camp, one of the more important things and one of the goals for me is that the kids are pushed out of their comfort zone. So my general goal is if they don't want to go to the activity, they still should go. It's not about I don't really like this game, I don't want to do it. But that's the opportunity for the kids to learn. That's my general recommendation. I don't like the idea of, well, I don't want to go. Now, their relationship with their counselor, the understanding and the discussion of the counselor, he feels maybe the kid's had a long day, he wants to stay in his room. As long as the counselor knows where he is, we know where the kid is, that's totally fine. Things like free time, where they're allowed to go, and we know where the kids are about, and the counselors are going to check around to see where the kids are and to make sure everybody's okay and get head counts. That's just something where it's up to the kid's discretion. If he wants to sit in his room, totally fine. He's not going to have a phone, so personally, I don't know what you're going to be doing. مش عاجبك. تفضل. So, I can emphasize that general policies in this regard, in terms of general in other sports and other camps, is we don't allow more than 12 per person. More than 12 per person. That's a general guidelines in terms of general camps. Now, I have designed the camps where the younger groups are with people who are more trusted, a little bit older, so they enjoy their safety, as well as we've shrunk those cabins down for the younger groups, so they are a little bit focused on. The older cabins might be a little bit bigger, they don't need as much supervision, but the general rule is 12 per person is the maximum. Inshallah. Any other questions? I'm going to start the bidding. Going once. Going twice. انتوا كلكم بكم بالvacation. لو because that's usually any longer than 4 days. Not only am I going to have to charge everybody more, not only and you know what, the response is going to be a lot of you guys would pay more to get your kids away. No problem. The general rule is that's what we can reserve. So we can reserve 4 days. So that's the maximum we can get. 2 times a week. I feel like if I did a week and I put a certain cost, you guys would all pay for it. Any other questions, inshallah? Going once. Allah khalik amal. Going twice. Sold. Now, I ask before we get up, the parents to come to me to sign the waiver. That's so I can save time tomorrow. The They're going to go get their camp shirts. I'm going to inform them of the cabins, and then we're going to have trivia حلقة style. Inshallah. Yeah. So I ask the parents to come up to me so I can just get the waiver signed. That's all I need, inshallah. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك والعصر ان الانسان لفي خسر الا الذين امنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.